Goedemorgen. Terwijl wij hier wakker worden met de opkomende zon in de baai, zitten wij te wachten op de trolley. En die is net voorbij, dus we hebben over 10 minuutjes zo komt hij weer. En dan gaan we even een tour door de stad doen. St. Augustine, de oudste stad van Amerika. Zeggen ze zelf. Het is wel een lekker koel briesje. De zon zelf is wel redelijk aan de warme kant, maar het briesje is heerlijk.
And when the British arrived in the 1760s, they would remodel many of these Spanish colonial buildings like you'll see on the right-hand side. Notice these buildings, the doorways now face the street front, and the British were the first to use glass. Now this part of town on the right-hand side is still referred to today by locals as the Minorcan Quarter, named after an episode that took place here back in the British colonial period. A Scottish physician by the name of Andrew Turnbull wanted to establish an indigo plantation down in New Smyrna, bringing in a large number of indentured servants from the island of Minorca off the coast of Spain. The Minorcans went to work under harsh conditions, and it wasn't long before they were stormed out with no place to live. Now, if you look up at the bell towers, we make our turn, you'll see there's something missing up there. There are no church bells, and that's because Mr. Flagler lived down at the end of the street at one time. And he told them, he said, you want to build on my land? It's important you know I'm not a Baptist. I don't want you waking me up Sunday morning with the church bells. They agreed never to have any in there. You can see they still don't. And St. Augustine would then go on to win its one and only Nobel Prize. Oh no, it's much too early in the morning for silly jokes. But this part is absolutely true. Mr. Flagler is, Henry took the train up from Jacksonville. Jenny Louise would take the Flagler yacht down from Long Island Sound. But tragically, just as father and daughter about to see each other again in Charleston Harbor, Jenny Louise sadly died from her injuries and illnesses. And despite his grief, Mr. Flagler was determined on the 1-year anniversary of his daughter's death, he would have a memorial service for her in a brand new church he would build here in St. Augustine. That church is now in view on the right-hand side as we pull into stop number 8, the Memorial Presbyterian Church, modeled after the St. Augustine Church in Paris, France, and completed in, are you ready for this, only 361 days, allowing Mr. Flagler to have that memorial service here on the 1-year anniversary of his daughter's death as planned. Don't miss the famous rotunda coming into view on the right-hand side with all the Tiffany glass. In there today is the main cafeteria for the students at Flagler College. The fact when this is the Ponce De Leon Hotel, Mr. Flagler would entertain up to 600 dinner guests in one sitting inside this grand ballroom. You'll be looking at the largest collection of Tiffany glass in the world today, designed by Louis Comfort Tiffany, with an insured value of over $130 million. That explains the thick layer of bulletproof plexiglass on the outside to protect it, but also obscuring its beauty from the outside to a certain extent. The vehicle item. But as you pull out on King Street here on the right-hand side, you'll have a full view of the main entrance and southern facade of the Grand Hotel Ponce De Leon. From 1888 until it closed suddenly in 1967, it would reopen about a year later as the Flagler College, initially a 2-year women's college. It was later expanded, and now it is fully accredited 4-year liberal arts private school. You'll see a statue of Henry Flagler up on the pedestal to our right, in front of the main entrance into the college buildings today. A fun place in town for his guests to enjoy. After this next trolley stop in the drive, we'll explain what he placed inside the Alcazar to make that happen. But first I want to let you know that this property today is the home of the Leiding Museum. And the Leiding Museum contains a fabulous collection of antiques from the Victorian period, moved here from Chicago, Illinois by Model Leitner after the Great Depression last century. Remember that great United Methodist Church?
Nou, en waar wij dus in Nederland water, verf en dat soort dingen, waterbasis gebruiken. Waterverf en waterbasis, heel goed Jord. Gaat hier gewoon met iets verfdunner gewoon. Dat moet je maar even bij verzinnen.
When World War II opened up, now on the right-hand side, when World War II opened up, the hotel would close. It would serve as a temporary Coast Guard academy. And the Coast Guardsmen who fell during World War II and later conflicts who were trained here. Here in the corner to our right-hand side, this blue house with the white trim, this property once the home of Dr. Whedon. He was the physician who attended to Osceola. back when Florida was U.S. territory back in the 1830s and 40s. Osceola was held prisoner at the fort for several of those years. Franklin Smith would purchase some restored land from Henry Flagler, and on top of that land build this Casa Monica in the Moorish remodel style that he was known for. Now you won't see the lines and layers around the Casa Monica any longer like you do at the other two grand hotels, because in the 1960s it was resurfaced under a major upgrade program. It is now a 4-diamond hotel operated by the Marriott Corporation. But back when Franklin Smith was getting ready to open his grand hotel for its first season, he realized he had a serious problem on his hands. Whatever became of the furniture, linen, tableware, other essential items that needed for his guests in time to open the hotel, planned for delivery from Mr. Flagler's Florida East Coast Railway, none of it arrived here as planned. Can't imagine how that happened. Well, instead of losing a lot more money on the property, Franklin Smith decided to sell. And waiting there to buy it, checkbook in hand, was Henry Flagler, who would now own all 3 grand hotels here in St. Augustine. And here on the left-hand side, you'll see the Spanish market. This is where the Spanish introduced weights and measures for the first time to this part of the New World. Let's work our way around this small traffic circle to the north side of the plaza. And here in the center, up on the pedestal, here he is, my friends, in all his glory. A life-size replica of Don Juan Ponce De Leon, pointed to the north with his index.
Life-size?
Now, poor old Ponce De Leon meets every inch of that pedestal. History tells us he was only 4'11" in height. Most likely why you see him in a large hat and a feather in all his statues and portraits. Augustine Cathedral Basilica, coming into view on the right-hand side, is the oldest parish in the United States. Catholics have been celebrating Mass inside these columns nearly every day since George Washington was our president. We'll pull into the curb now for trolley stop number 14, our stop at the plaza. The cathedral, if you like to walk inside, is absolutely gorgeous. You do so from St. George Street through the courtyard, and they have a tour available at 1 p.m. There's the governor's house with restrooms on the left-hand side. We'll ring the bell. Look for 3 flags up here on the left-hand side, 2 blue, 1 red, each with stars. Each of these flags represents a different general officer working in the headquarters today. 2 U.S. Air Force, 1 U.S. Army, working with their staffs to protect our freedoms. God bless our troops. And here on the right-hand side, coming into view, the oldest documented house, the Gonzales Alvarez House, 1702. Originally a 1-story. The British Sergeant Fenwick would purchase the property. He and his wife would add a 2nd floor, balcony, and other extensions they explain as a part of a guided tour you get here at the Oldest House Museum. So this is stop 15. When I ring the bell, the entrance to the museum is up here through the green door in front of us. And then remember, the National Cemetery is down on Marine Street. Let me ring the bell, right-hand side, please, for stop number 15. They say Monaco for 30 days. Each night, Spanish soldiers come out of the fort, remove the cannonballs from the coquita walls, and replaster. Do you imagine the scene? Each of the following mornings at Anastasia Island, the sun comes up. British soldiers look across the river and see that, despite all their hard work, no permanent damage to the masonry on the Castillo de San Marco. And after 30 days of this nonsense, General Overlord, running short on supplies and needed back in Georgia, hit it on. Some of these walls at the base, 17 feet thick, and the forest nature of coquina really helped defend it. The fabricated minor compounds you see in front of us, when this was real wood, this was how the northern town wall extended from the bayfront through the city gates we saw earlier. Here they are again. This was the northern town wall, the Kublai. And anything north of the town wall, where we're headed now, well into the 19th century, was considered to be frontier land. No one wanted to build out here, no one wanted to live out here until after the Civil War was over. Much too dangerous to do so. Reconstructed several years ago, they have daily mass now there every day at noon. But from here you can walk across the footbridge to the landing site and on over to the historic chapel, the home of the Shrine of Our Lady of La Leche, the oldest Marian shrine in the United States. We'll pull around the circle here, and just before I ring the bell, look across the footbridge to the landing site, just beneath the Great Cross. See if you can find a statue there with outstretched arms of Francisco Lopez. On this spot, the day of the landing, Father Francisco Lopez de Mendoza celebrated the first Roman Catholic Mass in this part of the New World, often referred to as where Christianity began in what is now the United States. We'll pull forward here and ring the bell, folks, for stop number 20. You can leave the trolley on either side, but take your time. Please remember to turn around and back down all the considers Magnolia Avenue to be one of the 10 most beautiful streets in our nation, with this canopy of live oaks that replaced the magnolias we lost in the deep frost back in the 1930s. So have your cameras ready on either side of the trolley as we pull through the archway. Hardly a vehicle to obstruct your view here, folks, and here it is. Magnificent Magnolia Avenue. Check it out. Woo-hoo. Now the canopy is formed naturally by the influence of the ocean breezes coming in from the east, bending these trees at the top to the center of the road. And the wall you see on the right-hand side serves as a boundary to the Archaeological Park Fountain of Youth. We'll be pulling in there for our next trolley stop, number 22, the oldest tourist attraction in Florida, dating back to 1912. Now, when we were downtown, we talked extensively about the coquina, the Spanish quarried out on Anastasia Island to build their permanent structures here like the fort. But that's not what you see at this wall. This is something different. As you can see, whole oyster shells mixed with sand and lime. They called it tabby or tabia. Get a guided tour to the old jail, 1891 to 1953, our county prison. Storytellers are here to take you inside the old store museum experience as well. We have a water filling station. If you have an empty water bottle, just walk into the depot and get your water at the clean water fountain there. Really good, fresh, clean water.
Is leuk? Weet je wat het is?
Let's see what else I can tell you. Oh, restrooms. Restrooms, where are they, bud? They're inside Gator Bombs. Down the hallway, at the very end, you'll find a comfortable air-conditioned restroom.
Hoe heet dit museum? Een klein museumpje. Heb je Peppertje? Peppertje als je erop pakt.
Ja.
Which sometimes come 2.5 yards straight. I got a little wooden bridge, had a full shelter, 2.5 yards. Someone comes and does the trade, and you can buy them and pull you up a day and pick it's 2.5 yards. So that's the way they used to do it, but they don't do it that way anymore. They got a belt and fall off whatever place they took the scale, that's where they fall off. And pick. This is a string that you use.
15 cent voor een blikje perziken.
I have the meat or whatever you bought the rat button.
Where can you learn to speak cracker?
I was string taking home. And this opened up and the ball of string was right inside of it here. And you just don't know what you want and you get tangled up and stuff.
Others will say it comes from the cracked corn that was staple of diets of poor whites, as in cornmeal grits and corn whiskey. Don't make the never mind to me. Don't make no never mind to me.
5 pounds of cornmeal or 5 pounds of grits or whatever you want, and they get the whole corn and let them do and grind it.
The Florida cracker.
Come out through a sieve, sort of like this here, and the cornmeal went to the bottom and the grits stayed on top.
When were the first electric washing machines manufactured? 1900s.
Which is Jersey ice cream grits.
Oftewel, vroeger, toen het allemaal nog lekker goedkoop was. Deze is dicht, ze zijn bezig. Miniatuurtrein, wat leuk. Ja, Suus, ga cracker leren.
Wat?
Ga cracker leren.
Heb je dat gezien?
Wat heb ik gezien?
Delfts blauw en wordt
Licht. Licht Delfts blauw. Nee, dan. Oeh. Delft tiles.
There's just a no touching.
Highly decorative tin glazed pottery made in the Netherlands during the 1600s, sometimes used by the Spanish to decorate colonial fireplace surrounds. Maar het komt dus uit Delft. Kanonnen. What is a doubloon? A doubloon was a very valuable gold coin minted in Mexico, Peru and Spain and commonly used in Spain and Spanish America. A doubloon was worth 16 pieces of 8. A piece of 8 weighed 1 ounce of silver. A doubloon had the same weight in gold. Okay. Why did Spain colonize St. Augustine? The Spanish colonized St. Augustine to protect the Spanish treasure fleets on their way back to Seville. Pedro Menendez, the first Spanish governor of Florida, told King Philip that the purpose of colony of St. Augustine was to fix our frontier lines here, gain the waterway of the Bahamas, and work the mines of New Spain. Liar. What is the richest shipwreck ever recovered? The Atocha. $450 million worth of treasure. 40 tons of silver and gold. 100,000 Spanish silver coins, pieces of 8, gold coins, Colombian emerald, silver and gold artifacts, and over 1,000 silver bars. Who was the most ferocious pirate? Edward Teach, Blackbeard. $66.2 pounds of treasure. Ja, dat is zwaar. The Spanish treasure fleet in the New World. Wij zijn dus nu officieel bij de enige echte, let op, ik zeg niet functionerende, maar de enige echte officiële Fountain of Youth. En nee, dat is niet dat dingetje daar. Wel leuk met die dingen zo. We gaan, ja, Suze mogen zien.
We mogen drinken.
We gaan eens even, zal ik maar zeggen, al onze kwaaltjes en dingetjes wegdrinken. Wil jij voor mij een cupje in schenken, schat? Zien we ze vanzelf. Baant het niet, dan gaat het niet. Suus mag eerst.
Een beetje rustig alle winkels weg straks. En dan heb ik een volle bos gedaan.
Ja, voor mij is hier leeg hoor. Voor mij zit er ook... weet ik veel wat voor...
Ja?
Gaan jullie proosten met z'n allen of gaat Suus eerst...
Ik laat eerst Suus doen. Die doet niet wat.
Ja? Zal ik?
Bottoms up.
Wel vet chloor.
En ging ik nou dezelfde cup drinken als Suus?
Wil je een eigen cup dan?
Nee hoor. Maar dat is misschien jinx hè. Dit is de Fountain of Youth. Kijk eens Miss Youth.
Maar ik zeg, dat zit ook in het kraan in het hotel.
Dat is al verloren.
Ja, ik voel echt gewoon de jeugdsappen terugvloeien hoor. Of is dat gewoon diarree?
Waarschijnlijk kijk ik het daar van.
Ja.
Nee.
Hallo, dan wil ik je straks verland in een huis van zitten.
Dat kan je het dromen halen?
30 is ook goed.
Nou, probeer dan op zijn minst 26. Nee. Ah, kijk. Wil je meer informatie? SMS Indie aan.
Ze zit in
Maar dit is dus Ja, de echte originele officiële. De Fountain of Youth.
Ja. Smaakt alleen dat veel naar het kraan laten uit het dan.
Ja.
De first dad at Ponce De Leon was een kleine tot fresh drinking. Daarom is hij ontstaan.